Ever feel like pulling your hair out trying to get your fourth grader excited about writing? Yeah, I think we've all been there. But what if I told you there's a way to not only boost those writing chops, but also unlock some serious imagination power?
Sounds intriguing. What's the magic formula?
Well, today we're diving into the world of journal prompts, specifically for those creative fourth graders.
Ah, journal prompts. Those can be game changers.
Exactly. And we're taking inspiration from a blog post we found, 50 journal prompts for fourth graders.
Hmm.
It's by Clara Penrose over at Listallion. It's a whole website dedicated to journaling, which is pretty cool.
50 prompts. That's quite the treasure trove.
Right. They've got a ton of ideas, and we're going to unpack some of the coolest ones.
I'm ready. You know, it's fascinating because fourth grade is such a crucial point for kids and their writing.
Totally. How so?
Well, they're transitioning from just learning how to write to actually using writing to express themselves. It's a big leap.
It's like they're finally ready to unleash their creativity on the page.
Exactly. But sometimes they need a little nudge to get those creative juices flowing.
And that's where these prompts come in.
You got it. It's like giving them a little spark to ignite their imagination. And a journal is a safe space for them to explore their thoughts and feelings without judgment.
I love that. So, are these prompts like, write about your day? Or do they get a little more exciting than that?
Oh, they get way
More
out.
exciting. I'm not even kidding. Some of these took me right back to being a kid myself.
Okay, I'm even more curious now. Give me an example. What kind of prompts are we talking about?
Okay, how about this? Imagine you could have any superpower. Come on, that's every kid's dream.
You're not wrong. I mean, even as adults, we fantasize about having superpowers.
Right. And think about it at that age. Kids are starting to understand that they have control over their world, a sense of agency. And a superpower, well, that's like the ultimate form of agency.
That's a really interesting point. It's like these prompts are tapping into their development without them even realizing it.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about sneaking in those life lessons while making it fun. Okay, another one that stood out to me was write about a magical adventure.
Ooh, I like that one. It's simple, but it opens up a world of possibilities.
Right. It just screams imagination and adventure, and I think that's something all kids crave, especially fourth graders. Oh, and this one, imagine you have a pet dinosaur.
Okay, you definitely had me at pet dinosaur. That's amazing.
Right. Who wouldn't want to write about that? I can already picture the incredible creatures these kids would dream up.
It's like each prompt is a doorway to a whole new world, just waiting to be explored on the page.
Yes. And it's not all just fantasy and make-believe. There are some really thoughtful prompts, too. Like, describe your dream bedroom.
Ooh, that's a good one. I bet you could get some really creative and insightful responses from that one.
Totally. It's like, on the surface, it's just about a bedroom. But it makes them think about what they value, what makes them feel comfortable and happy.
And it encourages them to think about design and maybe even problem solving, like how to fit all their favorite things into one space.
Right. It's all connected.
Okay, I have to ask, what about the prompt, imagine you found a magic lamp? That's a classic.
Right. And it's such a sneaky way to get them thinking about their wishes and desires. It's like, what's most important to you? What would you change if you could?
Heavy stuff for a fourth grader.
I know. But that's the beauty of these prompts. They're engaging and thought-provoking without being too overwhelming.
They're like those hidden veggie snacks. You get all the good stuff without even realizing it.
Exactly.
It's like sneaking in those veggies. But in all seriousness, these prompts are great, but we can't forget about the actual getting them to write part.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like pulling teeth sometimes. Any tips?
Well, first off, it shouldn't feel like a chore, It's all about creating that positive vibe around journaling.
Okay, so like no forcing them to write right before bed when they're exhausted.
Exactly. Maybe after school when they've had some time to unwind.
That makes sense. I was trying to get my niece to write in her journal late at night, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, it's about finding that sweet spot in their routine. And keep in mind, every kid's different. Some might thrive on a schedule, others might need more flexibility.
So no one-size-fits-all approach.
Right. And it doesn't have to be a novel every time they sit down. Even a few sentences inspired by a prompt, that's a win in my book.
Small victories. I like it.
Exactly. And that's where parents and caregivers come in. Celebrate those small wins. Ask questions about what they wrote. Wow, that's an awesome superpower. What would you do with it?
Show them you're genuinely interested, not just checking it off a to-do list.
Yes. Make them feel heard and valued, like their thoughts and feelings matter.
Because they do.
Absolutely. And speaking of valuable resources, I love how this blog goes beyond just prompts. They've got stuff for all ages.
Right. I was poking around their site. They have articles about journaling for mental health and even meditation. It's incredible how beneficial journaling can be, no matter your age.
It's a lifelong tool, and this blog seems to get that, which is
It
awesome.
really is. So we've got these awesome prompts. We're encouraging our fourth graders to write. What's next?
Sharing. Don't let those stories just sit in a notebook.
Oh, that's a good point. It's one thing to write for yourself, but sharing takes it to a whole new level.
Exactly. Imagine the pride a fourth grader would feel reading their dinosaur adventure story to their family.
It's like their words come alive.
Right. And who knows, maybe it'll spark a lifelong love of writing and storytelling.
Wouldn't that be
It
incredible?
really would.
You know what I think is so cool about this whole thing? It's not just about the writing itself, it's about what happens after.
Oh, I totally agree. It's about bringing those stories to life.
Exactly. And these prompts, they're like springboards for some amazing conversations, too.
No, absolutely. Can you imagine a fourth grader, all proud, sharing their story about their pet dinosaur or their magical adventure?
I know, right? It's like their words have so much power, and when they share, it just amplifies that.
It does. And that brings me to a thought I want to leave with our listeners today. Don't let those journal entries just sit there in a notebook. Encourage those fourth graders to share, to read their stories out loud, maybe even act them out.
I love that. It's taking it beyond the page, It's about the joy of sharing their inner world.
Precisely. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, you'll spark a lifelong love of storytelling.
Now, wouldn't that be something? And not just for the kids, but for us adults too, right?
Absolutely. We could all use a little more imagination and storytelling in our lives.
I couldn't agree more. Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of journal prompts for those imaginative fourth graders. We've explored the power of these prompts, how they spark creativity and self-expression, and how to encourage a love of writing in those young minds.
And remember, it's not just about the writing itself, it's about creating a supportive environment, celebrating those small wins, and encouraging those young authors to share their incredible stories.
So to all the parents, teachers, and caregivers out there, we hope you feel inspired and equipped with a whole bunch of creative prompts to ignite those imaginations.
Happy writing, everyone.
From both of us here, thanks for joining us for the deep dive.